Thumbs. You're in the game.
What's up, it's Thumbs. Today we're going to rip apart the epic 1911 Jupiter, which is craftable in the collection section of the Quartermaster and Headquarters. The Jupiter comes with a perk called Center Mass, which increases damage to the body and decreases damage to the head. The question is, however, by how much? In order to determine how much the damage changes, I first had to estimate the damage. So I set out to record and analyze both the base variant and the Jupiter variant until some kind soul data mines a PC version for the zombie weapon stats. We're stuck with my estimates and fuzzy math. I will revisit my research once weapon stats are available and make more precise video. For this case, I assumed a base damage of 30 and I calculated a 1.5 multiplier to the body and a 5 times multiplier to the head. The Jupiter variant comes with a busted ass old rusty look and some sort of front grip that is completely useless, since you never put a second hand on a weapon, but what the hell, it comes with a fancy perk and all, so you know I'm in. So the Jupiter will kill a zombie on round 1 with 3 shots to the chest region, and in a few seconds we'll compare that with the base variant, but for now I'm going to drop a few more to make sure it wasn't a fluke and then move on to headshots. It takes 2 headshots to kill on round 1. Just to make sure his helmet didn't affect the damage, I'll drop 1 more. He takes 2 slugs to the brain as well. Now we can stack these numbers up against the base model and see how much effect the Center Mas Perk has on the damage modifiers. The base model takes 4 body shots but only 1 headshot to kill on round 1, so we can confirm the variant does work. This is refreshing since oftentimes epic variants didn't work on Infinite Warfare zombies. I took this data from rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 plus the 1-hit kill potential of the Pack-a-Punch versions and determined a possible damage modifier for each variant based off known zombie health for each of those rounds and assumed a base damage value of 30. Because of that assumption, these numbers shouldn't be quoted as facts, but will provide a baseline by which to compare the 2 versions. This took a lot of trial and error, but here's what I found. If you're not interested in how I write up my numbers, just skip ahead about 40 seconds. After experimenting with different base damage figures, I settled upon 30 as a likely number. Knowing how much health the zombies had on each round, and how many shots it took to kill them, I was able to try different figures into base damage and modifier numbers until I found numbers that fit each round. 1.5 is a body damage modifier from previous versions of COD, including for the 1911 on World at War, so when it matched the other data, everything kind of fell into place. In the end, I determined that the Jupiter has a 2-time modifier to the body, or 1 1/3 times the base model damage. Headshots on the base model were easy to figure since a round 1 zombie has 150 health, a 5 times modifier was simple math, and matched up to each round. Then I applied a 1 1/3 damage modifier in reverse to 5 and came up with 3.7. Checking that against my shots to kill on each round confirmed that everything matched up nicely. So with that solved, I set out to do some testing on the Pack-a-Punch versions. Figuring out damage modifiers with splash damage from explosives involved is next to impossible, so this portion of the video will be round based with no math. The base model is a 1-shot kill with direct impact to the chest on round 12. If however you hit the zombie in the arm, you only get a 1-time modifier instead of a 1.5 body modifier. That is enough to drop it down to 2 shots on round 12, as you can see in this clip. This isn't a huge deal, but I thought it was worth noting. Considering it takes until round 8 or 9 to pack, this is not a long window. So the 1911 becomes a 2-shot kill on round 13, so I thought good time to add Kugel Blitz and increase my weapon damage. But this perk had no effect on my damage. This could be broken, or it could be intentional because it's explosive damage, not bullet damage. The perk does say weapon damage, however, so I felt let down by its uselessness. Hopefully this gets patched. The Jupiter is a 1-shot kill to the chest until round 14. That's a full 2 rounds better than the base model performed and definitely makes the gun more usable to speed up these earlier rounds. The Jupiter likely would be a 1-shot kill on round 15 as well, but it's PES on this map, so I can't test that. It's definitely a 2-shot kill on round 16, however, so I thought why not check and see if double tap does anything to this variant. Sadly though, it does not. This makes more sense because it really only adds a 1.2 damage modifier to your shots, and the zombie health on 14 times 1.2 is slightly less than the zombie health on round 16. That being said, I believe this gun does more damage than the health total on 14, and this perk should have an effect. My channel doesn't have the pull to get this fixed, so feel free to mention it in the comment section of bigger YouTubers, and maybe one of them can get it patched with a video. Round 21 is the end of the 2-shot kill potential for the base variant and pretty much the end of the gun's usefulness. Due to the limited amount of ammo, a 4-shot kill is not really a sustainable strategy. Some added notes on the Center Mas Perk, which appears on other guns as well. Even though the body damage is increased with this weapon perk, a headshot will still do more damage than a body shot. On a ballistic weapon, it would still make sense to aim for headshots and use the added body damage for misses and hipfire during jam-ups. I will test the perk on a ballistic gun when I unlock those variants. Even with the added body shot damage, the Jupiter only gains 1 round on the base model when it comes to the 2-shot kill potential. It craps out on round 22, leaving the gun relatively useless on round 23 and beyond unless you have the free fire ability enabled. Hopefully all this rambling helped you out when deciding if the gun is worth crafting, and also if it is worth equipping other variants with this perk, such as the MG42 Buzzsaw, until such a time when I can do a more in-depth review of some of them. I really appreciate the time you took to watch this, and if you got a second, slap that like button for me on the way out. I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.